Oh, it just makes me feel old, man. Hello, everybody. This is Grimcad, and we are here for Dungeons and Dragons. We are playing a 5th edition today in Tomb of Annihilation. I'm Grimcad. I'm a player in this one. I am playing Rhea Day, the friendly, slightly whiny bee druid. We are also joined by Damikos, who's mostly new, sort of.
Yeah. Well,
very new.
me as a person, I have been around, but me as a character is fairly new.
Very true.
But hello, everyone.
And last but not least today, we are also joined by Gypsy, our DM.
Hello. I am currently only a DM, not even a player currently until later on in the week, which I am hyped for. But for now, we are dealing with a Goblin War, one player down. So say what you need to, and then I'll pick up and we'll take off where we left a fortnight ago.
Oh, I mean, I don't think I have anything else to say. Recap-wise, I'm pretty sure we streamed last episode. We made it back to the village after exploring around some. The village was attacked. We quite valiantly defended them without a single casualty. I don't think anybody even got hit, except for my bees, but they don't count.
A couple of the goblins would have, the friendly goblins, but yeah, no one dropped who was friendly last time. You guys did quite a good job.
Yeah. And I believe I'll just hand it on over to you, and you can take up wherever you'd like.
Yeah. Well, last we left off, the final of the Swooping Owl tribe, this strike force that seems to have attacked Yalyak itself, which from as far as you've seen and heard throughout this whole ordeal the past month or two, it strikes against the villages themselves, and attacks against the villages themselves aren't that common. It might just be because Yalyak is the main village in this area, or it might be something else, but yeah, this is the first attack against an actual settlement of theirs, as opposed to just one of the war camp. As the final enemy goblin would be dropping, the rest of your allies would be starting to do what you would do after a fight: move the bodies off to the side, bury, or in this case not even having to bury any of the wounded. A couple probably would end up back over at the infirmary tent down here, just to get minor scratches they may have gotten throughout the skirmish, checked and made sure that nothing's going to get infected or anything.
Do they just chuck the bodies onto the anthills?
No, it doesn't. They don't actually seem to feed these ants much meat. If the ants do happen to get meat, it's foraged by the colonies themselves. You would never have seen the goblins feeding the meat. It's always berries and roots and everything else. But it is certainly not like the ants do not eat meat, because they certainly sit upon the enemy goblins quite happily. And I mean, it'd probably even be to the point that by the time everything is settled down and people are starting to do what they're doing, you know, there are probably a good couple of chunks missing off the goblins that were set upon by ants.
Gotcha.
What would you guys be doing?
Could I just ask any random goblin what they want done with the bodies?
I mean, you do actually speak Goblin, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, so yes, you would be able to. And they would kind of just shrug at you because, I mean, it more than likely wouldn't be one of great importance if you're just grabbing one that happens to walk past you and you ask, and you'd kind of just point off towards out of the village and go, "Oh, if they their ones, they go out there. If they our ones, we take them and bury them back there." And he'd point back down towards the river a bit more down this area. By this rock and the two totems.
So I just put them where he pointed to when he said they go over there if they're their ones.
It wasn't like a direct direction or anything like that he pointed. It was literally just get them out of sight, get them out of the way.
Is anyone going to stop me if I start throwing them in the river?
No, they probably wouldn't. They would probably look at you not negatively, but a bit weird, like, why? But no one would be stopping you, no. There would be quite a few bodies to dump, though.
Well, I'll basically just go around helping clean up
Those.
for now.
And as the village starts looking in a lot better shape, the bodies have been moved. The signs of struggles have kind of been brushed aside and everything like that. You would notice Flask come walking in from the south. I mean, Riod and Jake probably would. You have not met Flask or River for that matter really yet. You've met River in passing so far.
So, going by where our tokens are, let's just assume we're only a couple of feet from River. Your brother's up, doing well?
Yeah, he woke up probably 2 days after you left. He's a bit shaken still, but he's getting there. He spends a lot less time away, I guess. Not to say he doesn't still go out every day, but I definitely see him before night these days. It's a bit odd.
Right. Well, he went through some pretty severe things, but still, it's fantastic to see him up. I'll have to go speak with him.
And I mean, in the time that you've been having that short discussion with River, he probably would have walked over to you lot, smiling and waving. He wouldn't actually say anything, which even by this point, he's always been friendly but quiet, but especially with you guys, he's always been a lot more talkative and everything, but it's almost to the extent of muteness. Like, you might ask him a question or something and he'd just nod or shrug his shoulders.
So, first of all, I mean, I would definitely, wave to him. I would I would try to catch, his arm for a big, brothers handshake type thing. You grasp the forearm and all that.
Oh yeah, and it'd do that and even probably pull you in and embrace you and everything. I mean, he's been unconscious for the better part of a month and still hasn't seen you in a week or two since he woke up.
All right, so
yeah, he's definitely missed you.
Yeah. Are you doing well then? Better, at least.
He'd give a nod. Not a slow nod or anything, but just like one quick, sharp nod that you'd almost miss. But it's not like he's doubting it or doing it in any way to try and make you not worry about him or anything. You get the feeling, even without an insight check, that yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, at least better.
Yeah.
Well, I'd shake my head, and I understand, and it'll get better.
And he'd kind of shrug and turn to Jake and do the same with him, give him an arm shake or arm grab or whatever you want to call it, and a quick embrace, and then he'd kind of look puzzled at first around, and then with his eyes settling on Damokos, he'd kind of give a quizzical tilt of the head.
Yeah.
I'd walk up a bit closer as he looked at me, and I'd say, I forgot what voice I did. Hi, I'm Demokos. You could call me these people's prisoner.
And it, especially at that word, he'd look at you, Riyadh, and again give kind of a quizzical, cocking his head to the side and furrowing his brow a little bit.
It's
almost looking like he's asking you, like, you have a servant?
It's complicated. We're sort of taxed to take him off of one of the other goblin tribes' hands, to do some unfortunate things to him. Obviously, that's not happening now, but things are still sort of up in the air. They're complicated.
And again, he would look around, definitely looking for another person. And then he'd look at you again, and I guess he'd point to his dagger or something like that.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't a trait of
Sure.
or a weapon of Roland, but he doesn't exactly have, don't know how to mime out where's the rogue.
Yeah. Roland didn't make it.
And with that, he would just kind of slump, and you'd see he would look very upset. Not to the point of tears or anything like that, but he was quite close, or at least getting quite close with Roland in the time that you guys have been traveling together. You get the feeling that he was probably looking forward to seeing everyone again. And with that, he would walk over to River and whisper something into her ear, where she would just nod, and then he would give a slight wave to you before taking off into a tent, which I don't have down, but would be off towards the north.
Mm-hmm. I turned to Damokos. He was in a coma the last we saw of him. It's good to see him on his feet, but he was certainly a bit more talkative the last time. I understand, I suppose.
It looked like you hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Still, good job out there. It's pretty impressive. Certainly more than I could do with, numbers that large.
It's just a gift. Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably
my family's blessing, really.
A lot more of that to come, though. And I do think it's somewhat important to mention that the ones that took you are our allies. Do you understand that?
To a certain degree. I don't hold ill will to them for what they did. They did what they do. That's how the tribes work out here.
Good.
They won't be mad at you if I'm fighting, will they?
Well,
Right?
that's one of the things I'm getting to. We're starting. We're going to be taking a larger part on in this thing if they're starting to attack villages now, and I want to make sure that there's no incidents on either sides. So I figured I would have this small talk with you, and I figured that I'd give you this as well. And I would hand to him the mask I made of the biting ants that I've been using somewhat. I think it would be a good idea if when things come to the fighting that you wear something like this. Now, obviously, the person behind it isn't one of the Batiri, but as long as we're making a pretense about you not being you, with luck that should suffice.
We shall see. I thank you for that. It I'm not entirely sure if it will work, but it's certainly worth a try.
Hold up a sec. I am just checking test skills and everything. Give me give me a sleight of hand, Grim. It's a DC 14.
Okay, can I guns myself beforehand?
Yeah, sure, you can. No, actually, because it's a culmination of your efforts
Okay.
on this mask. So you wouldn't have been casting guidance the whole time you were doing
Sure.
it, and that's absolutely fine. You would, as he hands the mask over, be handed quite a. I mean, given the tools and experience Riot has, quite a good mask. It's solid. Its strappings don't wiggle or anything at their joining points, and it seems that it would quite comfortably fit over almost any sized head, short of, say, like a Goliath or a giant or something like that. Like, it'll fit anything from a goblin or halfling to large humanoid. And it's good quality too.
This is very impressive.
Well, it's just something I've been working on while we've been here. When you're not traveling, you have a fair bit of free time, so you know how it is.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's been a lot of free time when you're traveling as well. So at this point, after the village had been cleaned up and Flask had come back and you guys had these discussions and everything, this village would be, the children would have settled down and started doing their evening night duties, as it is getting to about that time, and you would notice a lot more goblins walking into the village, a lot more of the ants. It seems like some kind of general order has come back to get as many of the goblins back into camp as possible, and over the rest of the evening, of whatever you might do, it would be considered a short or long rest. Don't take the full long rest yet, but it's also not just 10 minutes either. Like, it's the evening, the entire evening period. By the time the sun's going down, there'd be close on to 100 plus goblins around the village and setting up their own tents and everything outside it. All of them biting ants. It seems, from what you can gather, what you've seen and dealt with in this village of Yaoyak is only a portion of the biting ant tribe as a whole. They seem to have split off, and you've never seen any of these other groups or sects of the tribe yet, but all of a sudden they're starting to come together, and it's quite impressive by this point. You've probably neither of you, or any of you, Jake, possibly even, probably wouldn't have seen such large gatherings of goblins, at least not that weren't baying for blood, and they seem pretty looking for the right word, not as excited as you'd expect a large group of goblins to be. They seem to be quite disciplined. They're all soldiers. As far as goblins can be considered a soldier, each one that is turned up seems to be the soldier of, or soldiers of, their particular settlement of the tribe.
There's so many more of you than I would have reckoned. I would say
and
mostly
by this
to
point-
nobody in particular.
Yeah, and I mean, by this point, I mean, we could say Big Smart's found you again at this point. He would definitely have turned up and be keeping an eye out for you guys and everything. When he's not, doing what he needs to do as his position in the tribe, he's quite often at your guys' side, either showing you around or just hanging out with you guys. So he'd turn around and he'd be like, "Oh, yeah, what? You expect 20, 30 goblins to be the entirety of tribe? No, we have to split out, though."
I didn't really realize. I never thought about it. Humans and others, we all tend to stay in our homes for the most part.
So, with there being this many of you, how much of the jungle do you survey?
I mean, probably a good. I know that's hard to say. I mean, some settlements smaller, some bigger, some closer, and some further. We've got, I think, one or two who still live on other side of river.
Do you all have this kind of setup?
What you mean with the flinger?
Slingshot.
No, that's for us only. How you say, we head of all tribes.
So it's
So like
very organized.
we all one big tribe, but our tribe of tribe is top dog. Not that they would know what a dog is. Top ant.
Hyena. Panther.
Yeah.
So, Big Smart.
Yeah.
What happens now? I mean, obviously things are bad if they're attacking the village directly.
Oh yeah, this basically mean, next week or two probably be, solid fighting. Time for sneaking and time for scouting is well over now.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything, we probably timed it pretty well coming back when we did.
It seems like we did, yes.
Almost impeccably so.
Funny how that works out.
It's like you guys are the force of change in the world or something.
So Big Smart, is it?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have enough time for a nap before things get really bad?
Oh yeah. I probably won't get the boys moving for another day or two. Make sure everyone here. Make sure all the outer tribes have come if they're going to come. I know the boars were meant to be sending someone as kind of a like in between, kind of runner. So you have time for sleep, yeah.
Um,
I mean, at this point, like it's basically if you picture Lord of the Rings when the men have the war camp and they're all sitting around and making sure they're prepared and gearing up and making sure their armors and weapons and everything is set. That's the stage these guys are at now. They're literally about to go on the march.
hmm.
Even though some of them would have already been marching for, quite a while.
Damikos, do you have the things you need for sort of a prolonged engagement?
I would think so. I believe. I'm down on my weapons, but I've never used them really. So
Yeah. You've never used your weapons?
I mean, I know how to. I've practiced with them, but I've never had to use them in a combat situation. The boars, as you're calling them, they took them off me anyway.
Why stab someone when you can just give them a brain aneurysm?
Exactly.
Right. Well.
See, even just the difference in two different types of casters.
I know, right? One thing that I would like to do is that Roland had on him was like 2 things of poison. I would like
Yep.
to give one to either of the twins.
Yeah, that's fine. They will definitely take them too. I assume, is it still on your sheet?
I'm
or
not
his
sure
sheet?
if it is on my sheet. I was looking.
It's fine either way, as long as it's still
I
there.
have the acid
there-
on my sheet, but
It's all good. It's just I needed to know
Mhm.
what the dosage was.
Might be in the party loot still. I don't know. Damikos, can you identify magical items? I swear to God, if you say no.
I believe that's a wizard spell, isn't it? My father was a wizard.
That sounded like a no.
So that's a no.
No, I do know identify. My father taught me. My father taught me identify. I wouldn't normally be able to use it as a sorcerer, but having a wizard as a parent, I got into a spell book.
I'm sorry.
Things were done that allowed the party to have identify. We will not address it anymore.
Oh goodness. Oh well, that's good. Do you have the materials? Because we do have some things that need to be identified.
I believe so.
This is when Damikos charges for his services and you become his slave. We have like 6 items we need identified. Sure, that's only 6 spells. But yeah, and
I can identify for you.
anything like that that you want to do, now's the time to do it. You'd have essentially 2 days, so you'd have plenty of time to basically have him do nothing but cast Identify and rest until everything's identified.
Yeah, we've got a couple of things, mostly potion-y type stuff, but also I believe the alchemist jug never has been officially done, and we should also probably,
The rest of the items,
yeah,
because nothing's actually been like identified. It's just a factor
oh
of,
right,
I mean,
yeah,
you've been using the abilities. None of them have actual like trigger abilities. It's all passive effects, aside from the alchemy jug. So it's all been things that you've just kind of worn, and then you haven't even really noticed their effect until combat or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you would be able to do all the things you'd normally do with Identify, figure them out. I've already told the information behind the magic items anyway, because none of them were detrimental.
Well, we've got like potions and stuff, don't we, that are unidentified?
Does it do potions?
It should do any magical.
It's
Magic item or some other
Magic.
imbued. Its properties and how to use them.
Yeah, I'd call that. I'd call that potions too. Then. That's a lot of pearls, though.
That's what I was
Just
asking, whether he had the stuff for it.
I'll tell you right now, he might have 1 pearl, but he don't have 6 or 7 odd.
Fair enough.
And yeah, you guys are a little bit away from the ocean.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. We could hold off on stuff.
Yeah, like I'm pretty okay with letting most things in a component pouch are there, but at the same time, I do prefer to use the whole. If it tells you a GP use, you need to go specifically find that item.
Okay. Well, then probably the only other thing is in this, sort of intervening 2 days. I'd like to fill some of the bottles.
Hold up. You could have just said that, Fraser. You didn't need to whisper that.
I don't know why I whispered. I just didn't want to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
talking.
I actually do not remember. It does also feel like something I would say, though, because of the chance of you guys not really having a shop and everything. So I will say that yes, Damokos has learned how to do it as a ritual without materials.
Okay.
Because while we were talking about it, it's like it should be like way back in our Discord chat history, but I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Yeah. Like, I specifically gave it to him so you guys would have Identify, because it's not like it's a game-breaking spell or anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, in the future it might change. Like, you might find that if you find too powerful of an item or something like that, then it won't work or something like that. But for general magic items, uncommon ones, and mundane magic items like potions, he can cast it as a ritual without that.
Okay.
So yeah, pass me all of your magic stuff and then trust that I won't run away.
Actually, thinking about it though, like
there are hundreds of goblins here in this camp.
And they are all very much friendlier to Riot and them. You're not running away.
I think I can get away.
Remember what I said about 20 or 30 swamping you? But yeah, so you would I would have given you at least general descriptions of each of the potions, I believe.
I just got them written
colours.
down. Like, there's a sealed jar
gave
with
us
an
a colour.
unknown substance. I got
Yeah.
one potion here without a color, and then I got a green liquid vial.
Yes.
There was a red and a green, and a sticky substance, right?
I don't know. That's
A paste was there the paste in this one?
I believe you said the paste was just like a food item, so I didn't even bother writing that down now.
Ah,
Unless it was that was the seal jar with an unknown substance. It could be.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Gotcha. I don't remember.
In
being
which
a paste,
case,
but
that jar specifically would come up as Keotog's ointment, and it would have a d6 charges left in it, which is 2.
what does that do?
yeah.
Keotog's ointment.
Would you mind
Okay.
spelling that?
Yeah.
Keotog's Tom's.
Is it this one that smells of aloe?
Give me a sec.
Is it maybe just a restorative ointment in 5e?
As an action, 1 dose of ointment can be swallowed or applied to skin.
Yeah,
That
they just call it
creature receives-
restorative in this one. They like dropped all their proper names and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's 2d8 plus 2 hit points, ceases to be poisoned, and is cured of any disease.
Okay. I'll just throw this stuff onto my sheet for now. Actually, I mean, let's be honest. I could cure myself. You should probably hold on to that one, Damocos. In case you need, a quick heal and nobody can get to you.
Wait, so you did pass me all the magic things?
The green, the vial of green liquid would be a superior healing potion, and the vial of red liquid is a 1d4 poison.
So if I've got everything, I'm going to cast the spell that starts with I. Better than identify.
Alright, restorative ointment, superior potion.
Superior healing potion.
Yeah, and then what was the green one again?
The green one was the superior, red one was a 1d4 poison.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely would have drank the red one before the green one.
Lucky it was only 1d4, huh?
Yep.
And I believe that was all of the actual
I think so too.
unknown stuff, yes.
Did you guys take Roland's Gem of Brightness?
Yes.
What number of charges did it have left?
I think they basically left Roland buried with, I think it was just his rapier. Didn't you guys even take the +1 sword as well?
I did take the sword, yeah.
Did you get the braces?
Yes.
Yeah, they left you basically with your clothes and your rapier. Everything else is just left on the sheet, so Grim doesn't have to transfer it to his, basically. And I would assume that River would get the braces back.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's more of a question of, is Riod keeping them in the bag?
No, not at all. And I mean, in fact, if somebody can use the short sword, I would pass the short sword to them as well.
I'm gonna let you know I don't have a weapon at the moment.
Can you use a short sword?
Actually, no, I cannot use a short sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
both Flask and Jake can, and I imagine would use the short sword. I know
Jake can
Jake's
use as
weather-
well? Jake can probably use then.
I mean, Jake can use it. It's whether, because I know his mace is also his holy symbol, so or his morning star.
I see.
So,
Well, maybe not then.
it's up there. I mean, like, he could still use his morning star in one hand and the sword in the other hand, and just use it as a holy symbol if he so well pleases. But yeah, at the same time, I mean,
does Jake use a shield?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. I was just curious.
So it especially for now, because there's the chance that you guys use him or River. Flask would probably be the better option to take it, and he would be happy to. Especially once he finds out that it's, a masterwork or magic. Definitely.
Sorry, I'm just writing down the effects of the potions and the things, so I don't forget. I click clack. Yeah, like I said, I think the only other thing, like, mechanics wise, that I would like to do to prepare for these 2 days, I would like to make a couple of bottles of acid from the alchemist jar, so some of the either the goblins can have them.
I will ask this though: how many empty bottles do you have?
That's an interesting question. Had 10 at one point. I guess the goblins have these bottles at this point now. Because
that's the thing, isn't it?
Don't think I'm carrying on me. I gotta check though. All right, I was not carrying them on me. They can,
Yeah, well, but love to help you out there, but as you tip the alchemical jug over the non-existent glass bottles, it kind of just splashes to the ground, and then you're like, that's right, there's another step to this.
Wait, so with the way the alchemical jug, it has a certain number of uses before it can't be used anymore, right?
Yes, I believe it gains recharges.
So if I identify, can we know how many charges it's got so we don't overuse it?
Yes, give me a second. And of course, I should have actually thought about this just then when you were actually identifying it. Would you look at that? It's right there. 2 gallons per minute. Once the jug starts producing a liquid, it can't produce a different one or more of that one, or more of one that has reached its limit until the next day. So acid, you can make 8 ounces.
Yeah, raw for an alchemical jug, it's not a charge-based thing. It's an amount-based thing.
So I will chuck you guys that. So now you can...
you can make up to 2 gallons of mayonnaise.
Yeah, why mayonnaise of all things?
I actually read an article about it, and apparently as they were writing it, they were coming up with all sorts of, dirty things that you could make with it in their uses, and obviously they didn't put that into the book, but as an homage, they decided to put the mayonnaise into the book.
Horrific.
I was just going to say because it's the ultimate condiment, but okay.
That's a lot more horrific. But yes, so would there be any other preparations you would want to do?
I mean, other than trying to figure out a plan, which Riyadh would not want to take over the plan, that's pretty much it.
Well, In that case. Oh, no, yeah, go.
I was just going to say I can't really think of anything I need to do much other. Like, yeah, I don't know. Could I ask the goblins if they've got any spare quarterstaffs or slings?
Yeah, you could, and you would probably find one quite easily. They would probably expect some food or something traded from it, and one thing you would notice is that the goblins, the 7 or 8 odd goblins that were in the camp that day that they attacked, this would, I'd imagine, be the next day or something like that, would actually be keeping somewhat of a distance from you. You would be able to go up and talk to basically any other goblin, any of the hundreds of other goblins. But yeah, those ones, essentially the ones that already have green dots on them, would be keeping a berth from you. And, it's only 6 or 7, but it's still notable.
These are the ones who saw him basically cast Fireball, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. It was the ones that saw him using magic. And again, it's not, or not again, but it's not a kind of fear or anything. They're never around when you are kind of shoot sideways glances if they so happen to pass you, or you pass them. That's just Damoclos, though.
Sure.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna bring them up on it or anything.
But I mean, in terms of a quarterstaff or a sling, I mean, you could essentially make that in 10 minutes, either of them. It's a stick or 2 bits of rope with a piece of material in between them.
Yeah, I'll just get a quarterstaff.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, it'd probably, take you a couple hours of finding and whittling down to something useful and everything, and it definitely wouldn't be a permanent weapon. Like, it would suit you for combat for the next couple of days, but it's still untreated, non-dried wood and everything like that. It'll fall someday.
Like,
When you need it
I just realized. Do these guys actually have boats?
What guys?
The biting ant tribe. Do they actually have boats here, or are those just there on the map?
We covered this a while ago. They do have a couple of boats.
So I'll probably just grab an oar.
They would probably ask you not to.
Fine, I won't. If they ask me not to.
Yeah. Like, you get the feeling that those boats are probably captured from someone else, and the tribe can't just make new boats or boating equipment. It's not their forte. But with that, at some point over the 2 days, you would all, probably you too, Damocos, because it's obvious you hold at least some power within yourself, would get invited into what you've seen as the general's tent. It's Big Smart's tent, his campaign tent, essentially. And the more you deal with these goblins, the more you're actually becoming surprised at just how organized they are. Goblins are quite often seen as unruly rabble that just kind of muster through everything and use, pack tactics, essentially. But you can see that a lot of thought has gone into the coming future. There's tables covered, or what resembles tables in this village, raised piles of dirt and hay and stuff like that. But there's maps and notes and all kinds of different campaign correspondence plastered all over the raised tables and the walls of the tent. And Big Smuds would look at you guys and say, "So, this is it. We're going in the morning. You guys still helping, eh?"
That's the plan, yeah.
Well,
I believe so.
then you probably should know things with our kinds of wars. They're not like the human ones where, you attack town until town fall and then it's your town. We agree on places and times, and then we don't leave until we're done. We either die or we run, and if we run, I mean, ants don't run personally, but the other tribes full well might. I mean, who knows? So basically, what happened is we meeting was probably 20 miles to the east, and then we going to go north a little bit, and there's a big piece of very flat jungle. There's still lots of big trees and everything, but it's sort of like a what you tall ones call it, where they fight all together and everything.
A battlefield?
Uh I guess, but it's like they have them in towns and stuff.
Oh, do you mean an arena?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that one. Arena, I like that one. It's sort of like arena, but it's big piece of jungle. There's no hills or anything. You just worry about trees and the others.
So it's not like warfare throughout the entire area.
Oh no, it is like but you know how um I I never seen them fight, but other tall ones that come before you guys, they tell us of wars and stuff like that. How you guys have wars, and they say like battlefield, like you say, then two sides facing off and big fight, and then it's kind of over. One side wins, one side loses.
Uh huh.
We we do it on more of a bigger but smaller scale. Our battlefield bigger, but our fights smaller.
Okay, I see. So it's more like individuals against themselves or small groups.
Yeah, like all the boys out there, and he'll point out the tent. They're gonna go split back off into their tribes, and they go find other minor tribes to fight, while we find the other minor tribes to fight, and then we all end up finding who best of best, I guess.
I see. Well, okay.
Well, what did you guys want to do? Like, I mean, you guys good at fighting and everything, but can you really fight 20, 30 at once? Or do you want to join us and our boys?
I'd personally probably be better off a bit further away from everyone. My magics can be a bit volatile sometimes.
He'd kind of give you a quick nod, but it's very apparent he wasn't actually speaking to you.
Oh, well, I don't mind if it was speaking to me or not. I was answering.
Like he's not trying to come off as a dick, but at the same time he's known you. Like he's talking to the guy that he's spent the past 4 months traveling with, or whatever it is. Still looking at you, Riyadh, he would be. Or did you need to go put Riley down?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can't now.
Yes.
When was the last time you heard me talk?
Before Fraser said something.
Okay. Apparently the cord on my mic got it unplugged a little bit, so... well, I was saying that, yes, we probably could take 20 or 30 a time or two, but if they've got the numbers that you have, the hundreds and hundreds, if we do something like that, we just paint a huge target on ourselves. It would probably be best if we have at least a group to go with as well.
That's fine. I give you some of my boys then take with you.
Sure.
I did miss half of what you said, but I gleaned.
Again? Am I?
Yeah.
Here, let me drop Discord real quick and then.
Yeah.
All right, maybe that'll do it. I don't know. I see I got a yellow connection, so.
Here's hoping.
I can hear you pretty well.
Okay. But yeah, I'm sure you got the gist.
Yes, and that's fine. And after you guys would be finished in the tent, he would lead you to a group of probably about 15 plus goblins. Some you may have met and talked with before and everything, some you won't have. It just seems to be different biting ants pulled from the main tribe still. So the ones you have been dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Where will you and Grubsnake be? Will you be fighting in the middle of this as well?
Oh yeah, I'm not missing this for anything. Queen, she stay back here though. She bit old and not the fighty type.
What happens if the owls try something again, like they tried, a few days ago, where they attack back at the village?
Oh, honestly, hopefully it don't come to that. But then they have honestly no respect with the rest of tribes ever again. They completely ruined them. Their little, how you say, stunt the other day, that's already causing bad blood with other ones as well. The ones that are with them. I don't even know their names. They're always in trees. They're never on the ground.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know the name of any other tribes myself.
Well, with that, we would have one more night of rest. There would probably be a large feast. You guys would not by any means be expected to help out towards the feast. You're almost as much champions for the village as the likes of Big Smart and whoever he might consider his right-hand men or whatever. You guys would end up taking a pride of place. If we wish to go through the entire night of festivities, we can, or we can hand wave it and say everyone has a tasty meal and a good night's rest.
I mean, I'm happy enough hand waving.
It doesn't really matter either way.
Sweet. Well, the next morning you'd wake up and the goblins are already packing. Within an hour or two, everyone's ready to move on. All the tents that have been up for only a couple of days have been repacked and re-shouldered back onto backs and everything. You see, especially from the ones from the main tribe that you've been dealing with the most, you see people having what is quite possibly for some of them their last goodbyes. A lot of tears all around as far as goblins can cry. I don't know if people consider them worthy enough to cry, but I see them being sad.
They're definitely sad.
Yeah, like it's a big thing that's happening. Everyone's about to march off to war, some to glory and some to a shallow grave. Hopefully none of the tall people are going to, but let's see.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
The next few days is spent marching and making camp each night. The goblins seem to keep a good steady pace and, again, very disciplined. Their lines, although quite erratic and quite often zigzagging almost like ants throughout the jungle, their lines still stay in formation. The same goblins will be seen shoulder to shoulder, miles apart. I mean, not miles apart, obviously. You'll see them 10 miles down the road in the same formation and followings as they had been in the previous, and it even goes day to day. You almost get to the point where you could index and categorize the goblins just based off of their marching order. And then a few days pass, after which you would start going down a definite slope into what seems to be an almost basin in the ground, bringing us to hopefully the right area. And now I've just got one or two more things to pull up.
Mm-hmm.
At one point during the descent into this basin, one of these groups would come and join you, as you would hear the sound of... What's that?
At some point during the travel, before we met up with the Boar tribe, I would have put the mask on.
Yes, that's fine. And Big Smart would probably actually come and tell you as soon as he knew that they were on their way and everything, that his scouts had gone back to him, that the boars were on their way or anything. He would probably still come and tell you and be like, boars coming, you might want to cover. So yeah, you wouldn't be... I mean, even if they recognized you, they've got better things to worry about currently. And then you would find yourself in this deep basin, and you'd watch as the different groups and sub-tribes would split off and make their own small little groups before disappearing. Not small, but 15 to 20 size groups. And they would split off into the jungles. You would have yours remain with you, and obviously you would have Damokos with you for now.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of want to be with the group, but I sort of want to stay, like...
Well, I'm just meaning
20 feet away from most people.
Yeah, I mean, that is traveling with the group then. Like, in terms of when combat happens and spells happen and everything like that, you would remove yourself far enough away that you're not going to cause collateral and stuff like that. This is more for this quote-unquote overview map where everything's in groups without being in group. Your tokens are still next to each other, but you would essentially be working off of Riod's token until you decide, I'm going to split off and go by myself. Or with one of the twins, which, if someone wants to give me a guess on odds or evens...
Did you want to, Grim? Last time I guessed I died.
Tails never fails, and when it comes down to it, I think tail is going to be an odd.
So we will have river mist with us. Flask of wine, having stayed behind at the village with Jake.
Good on him. I like that choice. He needs to rest. I mean, not that I know, but
It wasn't so much he's just come out of a coma that made him stay behind. It was more of Jake's going to be basically the only protection for the village. And when you mentioned, what might happen if they come back, he was kind of like, yeah, let's not have that happen.
Yeah.
with me and Rio, him and Jake, I'm having deja vu here.
Oof.
Right. So, if people wish to, they can roll for initiative.
Obviously, I will mage armor up before, things look like they're coming to a head.
Again, it's not quite going to be open combat like that. Like, when it comes to the actual action and everything, like spells you would do at the opportune time just before combat.
Yeah, but like mage armor is like 8 hours, so as long as it gets done.
Yeah, man, I'd do the same, but with Unrag and AC bonus.
Just don't forget to remove your spell slot.
That is a class feature. Not class.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's a me thing. It's because I'm a.
Yeah. That's alright. I thought it was the spell version.
And I honestly have no idea how to pronounce that word. I'm probably saying it so terribly wrong.
What's that?
The armor of Agtheus or whatever it is.
Oh.
Armor of Agathes.
Yeah. Agathes. So each of the quote-unquote boss units or like the ones that are marked Goblin Boss, the Grung Elite Warrior, and the 2 Giant Boars, they each have different rules and abilities which will be secret until they are encountered. The rest count as just basic squads of ones. They have goblin attacks and everything.
I mean, they all look the same to us unless they're, different somehow.
And hopefully I'm not rolling multiple initiatives for the same tokens.
You just gotta roll them 3 or 4 times to get the best one.
Yeah.
I see what it is.
Also, Grung's gonna sell you car insurance.
What?
He looks like the little Geico lizard.
Ah, okay. Right, so, do one of you want to attack the goblins and one of you want to attack the boars?
Like tokens? Sure. I mean,
yeah.
For where we can see, but we won't get vision of them, so.
Ah, yes, that's right. You will not. Never mind then. Just worry about your tokens. Ah. Right. So goblins, because they have shorter movement, will have 2 tiles movement per turn. Make sure I'm moving the right one. grungs. So, 2.
So the plan's to kill the owls, right?
Yes. They're the ones in front of us. And apparently they have some sort of ally there. So, right or left? I like it.
Right.
Yes. And the boars have a 40 feet movement.
Yeah.
God. Please don't start another war.
Well, it's not necessarily a thing we want to make a habit of. I'm gonna go get some more
What
drink, though.
about
I'll be
that?
back in a minute.
Yeah, you got time.
I figured I might.
Don't feel bad for Grim with his big combats anymore.
So, you said that the tiles were 10-9.
Essentially, yes.
So what my question is,
But it's not really 10. Because don't forget, this is over days and everything. So,
but basically, like, the fireball has a range of 150 feet, and I have spell sniper, so it has 300 feet. How far-ish would that be?
the next tile.
Uh,
The same or next tile. We're dealing in miles at the moment. Like, once I've finished with all this, it's going to have been 1 day.
That's a big combat.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with 20, 30 creatures at once.
Now I get to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm probably gonna.
Yes, it won't actually be as interesting until people meet up because you can't range and everything.
Yeah, that's my 3.
So that's 1 day. Now that we're back at top of the turn.
Also, I'm dead last.
Yes.
That's good. Sorcerer should always be in the back lines.
Right, I re-exist.
Yay. It's almost your turn. So I was just reminding / explaining to Fraser that we're dealing in miles and stuff at the moment.
Mhm.
We've just finished 1 day and we're on the 2nd day now. Like,
Yeah.
we're hand waving food and everything because it would be expected that there would be supplies and everything like that. You keep some up. But yeah, we're dealing with long distances and periods of time. So spells and everything still can only... Oh, that's how I forgot to roll.
Well, weren't we doing as a group anyway?
Yeah, it doesn't matter currently, but if you guys ever split up or anything like that.
Oh, fair.
Because I think, yeah, Damokos has already gone off.
Not really gone off, but just kept somewhat of a distance, just to cover more ground. I suppose gone off, but wasn't trying to get too far away.
The first thing I did was split the party.
great like that. Okay, so goblin right before Riot. Had its turn, so it's a grunk there. Into Riot's turn.
All right.
Riot's just like, I want to ride the bear.
Oh, come on. So short. River will stick with you, Riot.
Okay.
Demakos, if you want to follow them, follow them. If you want to split from them and be on your left, go be.
I'm gonna follow.
I've disappeared. Good luck catching me.
Like, yeah, this would have been the perfect time to escape. Someone wants to be sold to cannibals, I think.
We're not
I still
gonna
think
sell 'em.
I still think I could get away from the cannibals if I was actually sold to the cannibals.
Oh, yeah?
Depends on whether or not the cannibals know to counter spell.
Yeah, you say that like you're not dealing with level 20 adventurer cannibals. Because who tells a level 20 adventurer cannibal no?
Yeah, can these cannibals, are these cannibals level 20 cannibals?
They have 20 levels of cannibal.
Get sold to the cannibals and find out.
You know what? Sell me to the cannibals.
Alright, so the first lot of slashing and smashing.
In all fairness, I could just wipe out the boars.
Do not wipe out the boars.
Then I don't have to get sold to the cannibals.
And instead of worrying about attack rolls and everything, you're only rolling for the damage.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying you kind of like, even as adventurers, there's little chance of you guys taking on such a massive horde of even goblins or something like that. Like, they are going to land hits and none of you guys are tanky. Riot's turn.
So I'm still a little lost at our scale here exactly. Like, at what point are we, like, hurling spells at somebody rather than... Or is it...
With range things like spells and stuff, the tile next to them,
Mm-hmm.
but it means they won't get to essentially attack back. If you're by yourself, you won't have to worry about the whole getting swamped and taking damage and shit.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have started this session with, sorry if this doesn't work well, guys.
I wanted to go here. I would rather try to take out the owls before taking out anybody else.
That's fine.
Just saying aloud what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Do we know who owns shares in Gaga?
What?
Do we know who owns the lizards?
No, you don't. But considering they don't seem to be attacking any of the ones around them, and they're, as far as you could tell, from these distances you're dealing with and everything, seem to be beelining towards your side of the forest.
Yeah, I doubt there's just innocent bystanders.
Yeah. But that being said, they're obviously been hired or something like that. I mean, they're not goblins. They don't have a stake in this war. So this boar will... Yeah. That's why we did that. Just make sure it was actually the right one.
We rolled 2d6, got 2 sticks.
God, this would have been easier if I was smart and gave you guys the tokens, but then you'd have the tokens forever in the future. So yeah, you've kind of watched today, Riod, as the two groups of boars that you've kind of worked your way in between have just kind of started charging through, almost crisscrossing through the enemy lines. Seems to be their preferred tactic. They act very much like if you'd ever seen any, if Riod had ever seen any wars or anything, much like cavalry would do. But as opposed to large lances or anything, it seems to be more the fact that on each of the back of the boars is 3 or 4 goblins, each just kind of wildly poking out at anything they go past with their spears. Bring us to Damocos's turn.
Oh, hey, now I can, now I can... I'm not sure what I can do.
No, I think you could probably move into the boar square too, right?
Yeah, you can share with the balls and everything.
I'd probably...
rather than
I'd
exposing
probably
yourself.
start sharing with the ball. Yeah, I forgot about moving into the balls. Yeah. That seems like a me.
That's you?
Yeah, I moved 3.
And on the 3rd day, it would seem like your friends are starting to get into the thick of it. look at that.
Things aren't looking good for them.
Well,
No. You've already watched as one of your friendlies just got completely slaughtered. You wouldn't have actually seen it, but reports later on in the coming night, at the end of the day, would have reported that you lost one very early in the day. An entire, I guess you'd call regiment, even though it's nowhere near the numbers or anything.
mm-hmm.
These ones would. With that. And then that. Riot's turn.
Alright, we will pop here and I guess start slinging some spells at this small one.
Yes, that's fine. As I said, don't need to worry about to hits and everything. Like, there's enough of them that, you watch as a good 3/4 of it is just basically inundated with the flames, either because of, special casting makes heaps of little wasps come out as opposed to just big one, or they all catch on fire and spread. But it's a unit effect, or maybe the fire makes some run that don't actually get hurt by it.
Mm-hmm.
And this one,
Honestly, yeah.
well, use this on these goblins here. So that's a big fail. What to do as stun? There isn't even really any good stunned things like that. But and this lot would be taking the boars, trying to cut right through their swaths. But they do seem to have taken notice of you as you're kind of ducking in and out between the boars, Damokos.
Oh, of course they would.
I mean,
One
red
of the
guy.
tallest things around.
Yeah, exactly. Red guy running around on a battlefield, taller than literally everything else aside from the giant boars. Yeah, probably pretty noteworthy. Oh god. Oh god. And do you keep all of the tabs open, or do you open and close them? like the
Like character
drop.
sheets? I mean, I
Yeah,
minimize them down to where it's just the name, but I like stack them on the side of the usually the right side.
yeah.
So there's like a long list going down, and I organize them in initiative order for when they come up usually.
Oh, geez, you do that much? Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean sometimes when you've got like 20 goblins, it's a bit different, but like when I've got named stuff. Otherwise, I'll forget where it is, and then I have to go searching for it.
Yeah. And this lot would be making an attack against your group, Grim.
Okay.
So, give me odds or evens.
Evens.
Alright, so they will be attacking of your choice. Do you want them to attack you or your goblins? As in, who's going to take the 4 damage?
I will take the 4 damage, I guess.
Yes. And this one there. No. I think that's right. I hope that's right. So, you especially would see this, Demikos, because the boars around you suddenly get hit by a volley, and I mean an absolute volley. If you've seen The Hobbit, when the orcs and not the orcs, the dwarves and the elves are faring off, and the elves keep sending volleys of arrows over, it's basically what it looks like, but with magic missile bolts. Wow.
That's
That was rather like an ideal amount of damage for them. But a good chunk of this group of boars that you've kind of been trying to hide in has died now. It's easily half the amount have either outright died or fallen and taken so much damage that they're not moving anytime soon.
did I say the incoming direction of the volley?
Yep, it was from this group here.
Yeah.
Which, as far as you can tell, looks like the quote-unquote commander group for the owls. Sorry, I went too far, but that's fine, because it was only by 1. That will make a definite strong hit against that one. Bring us to River's turn, who can't really help you with the all the spell casting and everything, Riad, so she will sit back and spend the day sniping those red boys in the middle of the group. And she manages to hunt herself an entire little tribe of goblins. Demikos.
I hate to do it to him, but these guys could go down. So, just really quickly, got to do one of these.
Oh, just really quickly before you do that, actually. Oh no, that's for your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Do you want to give me a charisma saving throw first?
A charisma saving throw?
Yeah.
Give us 2 seconds. That's an ability check. I think I'm trying to find out. Just give us a second to figure out which thing it is. Okay, I can't find it. All right, here's just a saving throw then.
Oh, you can make your attack.
I shall make my attack. They're very charismatic, are they?
You know it. It will, however, use its reaction.
Are they dexterous?
I mean, doesn't need to be. He face checks your spell. He can't regain HP because he hasn't taken
you
it.
son of a
But you
bitch.
forgot about that part of him. You need someone else to attack them first for some fucking reason, and you can't even just throw a healing potion at them to reverse the damage. Do you want to move?
As a bonus action, give us a second. I will cast Expeditious Retreat and run away. So I moved 1 forward, so I can move 2 more, and then 2 more. Is that no?
Expeditious retreat twice the movement.
It's a dash. I can take dash action on
essentially twice the movement.
So then I'll come back around to Riot and be like, "Hey, guy,
how'd it go on your flank?"
Yeah, I can't hurt him." He just face checked it.
And with that, on the 3rd or 4th night, I'm guessing Grim probably needs to go put Riley to bed.
Oh, she's been asleep. It's 11 o'clock for me.
Oh, has she?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, okay.
Yeah. The way we're working now is she goes to sleep before we start.
Well, in that case, on this night, something new happens. Usually each night you've had at least a runner show up. Usually from the boars. But tonight it seems to be an ant. And he looks absolutely exhausted. He's obviously been running all day. Hasn't stopped at any point to take a single break. And quite frankly, he collapses at your feet for probably a good 20-30 minutes of breathlessness, catching his breath back and stopping his body from trembling. Once he's capable of talking again, he says, Big Boss is worried. He said things not looking good.
I see. If you can have them start to pull back, we're sort of wiping up on this side. How many of you lost?
All but 3 groups, I think. There was another still fighting when I left, but you guys kind of just left us.
We didn't think you were going to charge head on in. We went for the owls themselves. If we can crush them. Why is anybody else fighting?
I thought you were following us. I'm sorry, I didn't look back.
To be fair, you guys blatantly know what what the ants are like. But that's as much like most of the time you would get a lot more information of what was happening. You'd actually get, the numbers of what's been happening. You'd have essentially the overview of the battlefield that you guys have looking down at it now. You do not have that currently. What you see here might be what's there. That might not be. I'm leaving it there for the mystery, I guess, of what happens. But yeah, as it looks, and from last reports, you basically getting cut off from the ants. You're not at any danger. I mean, still surrounded by the boars and in quite a strong position to at least, you could even take this entire fight. But the ants probably only have a day or two left.
I mean, we're a week away from them now.
Yes, well, we will take that in this turn. I mean, I think they still have a day or two, and the boars do have an ability up their sleeve that they can use. It's just they have been waiting for a moment like this to be able to use it, but might not be the reason that they wanted to in the first place. So, 1, 2. Not the grungs. Goblins. Now the grung. Oh, right. Yes. Riot's turn.
I mean,
and yes, at basically any point, you guys can basically go, we ain't touching this, we disappear into the forest.
Right. I mean, I don't think we're...
Like, if things turn tail.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't really see what's going on over here too well, you know?
You can't.
Yeah.
But by all reports, the fact that your normal communication lines and everything got cut off. Usually it was boars that were running the messages. They were a bit quicker. It was less taxing and everything on them. But you get a bit more of the story over the night and everything. This goblin that has come and found you was sent at the behest of Big Smart. He was the only survivor from his group. And he basically went from, his fight having everyone basically instantly get slaughtered and then told, run to these guys, we need their help.
I mean, again, we're like a week away from them. I don't think there's a thing we can do.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If that's what you think, then yeah. That's why I said at any point you guys can just be like, well, let's not put ourselves at risk. Let's just disappear into the bushes.
Right. I mean, I don't really think Rion would want to do that. I mean, we'd probably, head into this group, and I guess since we're working on daily things, there's no reason to not, use the biggest and baddest.
Yeah, and, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would definitely wipe them out. Does it have a... Oh, wait. Were you attacking this one?
I was attacking the one I was standing on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sweet. And then, how does Call Lightning actually work again?
I don't exactly know on these distances, honestly. I can... it's
I
within.
was meaning like it sticks around and does extra damage and stuff. Like you can change its where
Yeah,
it strikes and stuff. Okay.
but it's like within 60 feet.
Yeah,
Because the cloud.
but I mean,
Yeah.
it's also up to 10 minutes. So yeah, you'd use it to wipe them out, and then it'd disappear after the end of it. So you'd basically use the entirety 10 minutes of the spell, striking them one at a time
Yeah.
until they're dead. So with that, roll 1, 2, and get them to do that on him, where he uses. Oh wait! Before they do that, no, wisdom. Charisma.
You made me charisma.
Yeah, that's what I was double checking. So these ones don't actually get their attack in because they just start praising the leader of this group of goblins next to you. Alright, to save us time, I am going to delete these. Oh, damn it. God damn it, deleted the wrong one. I just wanted to not have to worry about all this
You can
stuff
just
over here.
Control Z, and that should undo your last.
Nope, apparently it just undoes movement and tokens and stuff.
It should undo. Maybe not.
Nope. That's fine anyway. And you got in the way of the boars, so they can't do what they were going to do.
Yeah, well.
But they will still... not make an attack either. God, I love nilbogs. Grunt. This grunt. This goblin boss.
Can we have just one charismatic person attacking Nobel?
I mean, not me.
So again, odds or evens. If you get it right, you can choose who they attack, or else they will choose with a odds or
evens.
Odds. So they will. You are evens. The goblins around you are odds. So they are attacking the goblins around you. So you watch as, over the day of skirmishing, the ones that have been following you around for the past few days drop off one by one until you find yourself standing, I mean, more or less alone. The other two are still close enough that they can today come to your aid, but they're not close enough at the moment to be considered with you. And then let's see if this board can do it. Can he make an attack? He cannot. River's turn now. She'd come in with you, and hopefully she would be charismatic enough to actually be able to attack him. Would you believe it? Demikos.
At the moment, because are we getting rests between days?
Yeah.
At the moment, I would Use a bonus action to cast Expeditious Retreat. Then move all the way down here and start targeting the lizard,
The grung.
the grung.
Feel free to make your attack.
Cast another spell, so getting close. Getting close, maybe one of these days.
That would definitely kill them.
You can slowly pick off groups with fireball.
Now add an intimidation check to that.
And these grungs would be trying to finish off this board here. And they would bring us to Riyadh's turn.
Look, I guess we gotta get in there and do the same, and I guess that first needs a charisma.
Mm-hmm. That's a pass. So you can at least attack it. And it uses its reaction. Let's hope someone else can attack it this turn. Come on, Goblin. Oh. Or not. Or not.
Can the grungs talk?
What was that?
Can the grungs talk?
talk? Yes, they can.
They
But
probably speak Goblin at least.
can you speak Grung?
No.
Because yeah, that's the extent of their language is Grung. Giant boar will finally make its attack and manage to do 8 damage. So if we can keep the attacks up so it doesn't heal. These grungs will move. These grungs will move and Goblin's boss's turn. He will. Is the boar that did damage, I believe? Yes. So he will do that. For his turn, he will do much the same. Apparently not. Damakos's turn.
Is the Nilbog just alone at the point, or does he still have an army around him?
You would have a little over half of his units.
Suppose I'll just do that. Take the charisma save.
Fail it.
Probably fail it.
It is. It's a D12. D12. DC 12.
Then I'm gonna.
Oh no, that's for your. Oh yeah, that definitely saves. And that would.
That
You
does
watch as the one leading his head would almost physically snap back from the impact from your psychic damage and drop to the ground. What few of his units might remain scatter as he drops. And on this grung's turn, they would step back from you all, and you would start hearing a very loud croaking throughout the jungle, and quite obviously a language. If you were to guess, it was probably those creatures' language. And at this point, we would be able to call it there. I thought it'd take a bit more, but I also thought that it wouldn't be as shit. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. So, sorry. Could have just left it as, a basic encounter and not restricted anyone. But we learn, and wars are hopefully avoided in the future, because 5e is not designed for large-scale warfare in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. We've definitely got to say Grim done it in a really good way.
That being said, though, what did you say?
When you done the war, you done the war really good.
But I did a war? I don't even remember doing a war. Oh, okay. I did.
We had their best war.
Right, I do remember.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't think we had a massive, actual big engagement fight during.
We just broke off into small units, and then the units would move, and then we would have, small combat with those units.
Yeah. Yes, but that was, like I said, could have been a lot better in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel. But what would you guys be doing? I mean, by all means, we can continue this on and you guys can chase down, and no doubt.
Sure.
I mean, actually looking at it quite honestly, whether we turned it into an actual engagement or whether we kept going with the rules that going, you guys would probably be scraping by to survive this. I probably should have tipped a few more ants at you, or maybe hinted that you guys don't run off in the opposite direction from them straight away. But as it stands, there are no more enemies in your immediate battlefields. This group here would be in the act of retreating once they would start hearing the croaks as well. And you would guess that it's kind of a, alarm saying head back home or whatever it might be that's ringing through the jungle.
Right. I mean, the thing to do is to see how the rest of the groups is doing, basically. So, yeah.
Well, you would spend a couple of days traveling again. You'd be a bit more open in movement now because you're not worried about running into a skirmish or anything like that currently. It seems that most of the fighting either finished the same day or the next day or two after you finished. All sides have left or been routed or lie dying dead. You find a lot of ants. A lot. Frankly, almost every single one of them that came out with you is lying amongst the dead. You don't find Big Smart, and you don't find a couple of others, or a couple of the other ones that you may or may not consider notable ones you would have talked to in the past and actually had some rapport with, even if essentially he's the only one. But take it as you will. You might see it as a victory because you're still standing, but it certainly looks like a wash. On both sides, you guys technically did defeat the enemy that you were at war with. Just their allies also defeated yours.
Yeah, you just you go through our wounded and you try to you cast who you can, and
yeah, and at this point you'd probably be saving maybe 10 all up goblins who were barely holding on before that.
Then I guess we We grab ourselves and we limp back to.
Well, not you guys limp so much. You guys were almost
Right,
untouched.
well.
But
I
yes,
actually was.
and with that, you would come back to Yalyak. Like I said, I honestly expected this to be a bit more to it, I guess. I expected for us to get more out of it and for it to be a little bit better. I didn't expect it to be so bland, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't really have much more planned for now.
Sure. We
I
can.
expected the goblins to follow us.
To be quite honest, I was expecting people to try the diplomacy check to try and turn the enemy on each other and everything. But no, people were happy just going, yeah, we'll attack them.
Yeah, I mean, we were there, we had our allies, they were there, they had their allies. We couldn't speak to one of the groups at all.
I mean, you could have.
We
not,
just
not through.
rolled the dice and went the other way to the other one.
Yeah. That's fine. Yes, I mean, if you guys just so happen to somehow start future, I will try and make it much better, but at the same time, please don't go starting any more wars.
Well, hopefully we won't start a war.
Like, the general story arc has been nice, but yeah, this last encounter was just not as good as I was hoping for.
I mean, you do what you do. It was a little lacking, but I mean, it's hard to do because 50 is not made for it.
No, it's not. It's made for dungeon delving.
Yeah.
It's made for 4 or 5 people against, at most, 6-7 people.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6-7 monsters. It's not designed for open large scale combat like 40k or something.
Yeah, and like Fraser says that he liked the one that I ran. Well, I thought the one that I ran was absolute trash. I mean, I was not happy with that. I don't think I've never seen anybody do a large scale combat like that was like, you know what I mean, in 5e.
Yeah. So I don't think it's possible. I think it's just something you do when it pops up and don't expect too much out of it. There's game systems out there if you want to play large scale combat.
Yeah.
This is not one of those game systems.
Right.
So with 5e, it's like horde combat. The written rule is that horde combat, like, if there's a certain amount of people attacking, it's just automatically a hit, and then the main damage gets to take the damage.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we're through it now.
Yeah, and I mean that's basically how that ran anyway. The only difference was it was a bit more restricted in terms of movement and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that was to try and simulate the scale of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we will pick up next week, hopefully, with our third here this time.
Oh, yeah.
Or next time, hopefully. I will let him know what happened and everything. And I guess you can sign us off from YouTube.
Yeah, well, gosh, I don't know. I mean, we're more or less, I believe, maybe, coming to the close of one of our major arcs at this point, and now we can get on with what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we've spent a good 2 months out of game on this Goblin War arc. It's been enjoyable. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, I mean I've had a good
time. The actual arc of it.
It's been a great plot point.
Yeah.
Especially for a campaign that is meant to be very time-based heavy, and you've got to be able to manage your time. Let's have a go.
Yeah, that's not us.
Let's not talk about the time management, all right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I went into this wanting it to play essentially like this. I didn't want to play Tomb of Annihilation for Tomb of Annihilation. If I wanted to do that, I would have told you guys min-max from the start.
Yeah.
We want that speed run.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so, if you've been watching, thanks for watching. If you haven't been watching, you should have been watching. I hope everybody has a great day regardless, and peace out.
Except you guys who don't watch, you guys can get fucked.
No. Alright, I'll catch you.
Don't insult the non-viewers.
Right.
You gotta shame them into watching.
We will catch you tomorrow, Grim.
Yes, we will. Alright.
I think it's 12:30 for us, Fraser, or something.
Yeah.
Alright.
But yes, see you, Grim. We will let you go.
Yeah.